Hello, friends! As kids, I bet each of us at least once wondered who's stronger, a lion or a tiger, a shark or a crocodile, a brown bear or a polar bear. But as we grow up, we realize these comparisons are pointless. Every predator is unique, with its own strengths and weaknesses. The same can be said about the premium giants of the automotive world, Bentley and Rolls Royce. Despite Royce's modest model lineup, each car from this brand becomes a true symbol of its era. Just step inside the cabin of such a car, and it's clear its owner is immensely wealthy, in no rush, having already achieved everything they aspired to. I'm sure you've guessed it today, we're talking about Rolls-Royce. Where the brand came from, how it all began, and how the meeting of two passionate individuals changed their lives and the lives of thousands of affluent buyers worldwide. Today, Rolls-Royce Motor Cars Limited is a British subsidiary of BMW AG, specializing in luxury vehicles. Luxury, prestige, comfort, and reliability, these qualities have been the cornerstone of the brand's philosophy, accompanying every Rolls-Royce car for over a century. The story of Rolls-Royce Limited began in May 1904, when engineer Henry Royce met Charles Rolsa, British aviator, racer, and owner of one of the first car dealerships, over lunch. Henry came from a humble background. He was the fifth child of James Royce, a miller who rented a small mill, and financial struggles forced the family to leave their hometown and move to London in search of a better life. The father provided the bulk of the family's income, and in the capital, he managed to find good work. However, Henry attended his new school for only a year before he had to grow up fast. In 1872, his father passed away, and 9-year-old Henry began earning a living delivering telegrams and newspapers. Orphaned, he started learning everything on his own. Thanks to a good relationship with his aunt, Henry landed an apprenticeship at railway workshops, where he quickly mastered the workings of mechanisms and their principles. This knowledge helped him secure a job as an electrician at an electrical company, and later, he moved to Liverpool. His hard work stood out, and soon he made valuable connections, including with Ernest Claremont, a like-minded and equally talented engineer. Just days after meeting, it became clear they shared a dream to start their own business. But, as often happens, they lacked the funds to make it a reality. The dream lived in their minds for years while they saved money. Finally, in 1884, having amassed £20, Royce and Claremont launched a business producing electrical devices. Henry was just 22 at the time, and they started with simple doorbells. These doorbells had an extremely simple design, much plainer than competitors, but cost nearly twice as much. The reason lay in their reliability. They simply didn't break. Even then, Royce coined his guiding principle: the price is forgotten, but the quality remains. In 1894, he founded Royce & Company, a crane manufacturing business. Just 5 years later, its shares hit the stock exchange, and a factory was built in Old Trafford. Curiously, cranes designed by Royce were produced until 1964, long after his death. During this period, having saved enough money, Royce bought his first French car. After driving it for a couple of years, he was thoroughly disappointed. Its quality fell far short of expectations, so much so that Royce had to completely disassemble and rebuild it himself. These flaws and weak components inspired him to create his own reliable, well-thought-out, and technologically advanced. At this point, Royce's path crossed with another enthusiast, Charles Rolls. His story was quite different. Rolls had been passionate about engineering since his youth and studied it at Cambridge. Moreover, he was the first student to buy his own car and compete in races. Rolls was born into an aristocratic, wealthy family that supported his love for technology. Thanks to his connections and finances, he opened a dealership specializing in imported cars. But the main issue was suppliers. Deliveries were often delayed, parts were incorrect, or they didn't arrive at all. For years, Charles searched for a reliable partner. This was 1904. Mind you, cars were rare, and Henry Ford had only recently started his small-scale production. Progress was slow until Rolls met Royce. Their first meeting was memorable. Charles sent a telegram inviting Royce to London, only to receive an unexpected reply: "If you need me, you come here." To his credit, Rolls didn't back down and made the trip. The meeting took place on May 4, 1904, at the Midland Hotel restaurant, where a commemorative plaque now stands. Royce was 41, Rolls 26. And they were separated not just by age, but by a social chasmone, a product of privilege, the other of relentless hard work. Yet, they found common ground. Their formal partnership began in 1905, though the agreement was signed the previous year. Soon after, they unveiled their first joint cars. Rolls, with his press connections, quickly announced they were working on their own production, sparking keen interest in the brand. The partnership between Henry Royce and Charles Rolls was nearly perfect. One was a brilliant engineer crafting machines with unparalleled precision, while the other was a masterful salesman who knew how to present them to the market. From the outset, they clearly divided their roles. Henry steered clear of commerce, and Charles didn't interfere with technical creativity. This harmony was likely a key factor in their success. The founders complemented each other flawlessly. By the end of its first year, Rolls-Royce showed impressive sales figure. The first production model, the Silver Ghost, was built at Royce's factory on Cook Street in Manchester and hit the roads in 1907. It was powered by a 7036 cubic centimeter six-cylinder engine, which was upgraded to 7,428 cubic centimeters in 1909. The cost of a new car from the young company seemed astronomical, 985 pounds sterling for just the chassis and engine. Buyers had to separately pay for the body, nearly doubling the cost. In other words, about 2,000 pounds, a sum comparable to buying a London mansion. Despite the steep price, the company refused to compromise. Rolls-Royce used only cutting-edge solutions and materials, deliberately distancing itself from dubious competitors, especially French manufacturers. Nevertheless, buyers emerged, and the Silver Ghost remained in production until 1925. The model was popular among car enthusiasts and racers, but the best was yet to come. Financial difficulties soon resurfaced. As the fifth child in his family, Rolls couldn't rely on a large inheritance, and his father offered no support. They had to expand their investor pool, and when a major factory was built in Derby, the founder's shareholding was quite modest. Both joined the company's first board, Royce as chief engineer and Rolls as technical director. They understood that the most promising and rapidly growing market was across the ocean in the United States. So, right after unveiling the new model, they traveled there in person. It was in America that an event occurred that shaped the brand's future. Rolls met the Wright brothers, the world's first aircraft designers. This encounter sparked Charles's passion for aviation. He quickly mastered the theory, and within months, was flying solo, even crossing the English Channel. It seemed he was fully consumed by his dream of flight, but whether by fate or strategy, aviation soon became another key pillar of Rolls, Royce's business. After discussing their plans, the partners began developing their own aircraft engines, with Henry Royce as the chief designer. These engines are still produced today and are considered a benchmark for reliability and engineering excellence. The aviation division helped the company weather the tough times of World War I. The partners had many ambitious plans, and who knows what Rolls-Royce might have become if not for the tragedy of 1910. That day, Henry Royce received devastating news. Charles Rolls had died during a landing competition. The biplane, piloted by Rolls, crashed from a height of about 7 meters when its tail broke off, leaving the pilot no chance of survival. Thus, Charles Rolls became the first aviator in England to die in a plane crash. His passing, like his life, was symbolic. Always strove to be the first. According to legend, the company made one of the crossed R letters in its logo black as a sign of mourning. After Rolls' death, all corporate rights, financial matters, and responsibilities fell on Henry Royce's shoulders. The war period brought stagnation to car manufacturing, but even then, Royce continued developing new solutions, keeping the brand born of his labor and inspirational. His perseverance led to the establishment of an American factory in 1921 and the development of the R aircraft engine for seaplanes. However, the U.S. venture lasted only 5 years, as American buyers preferred British-made products. In 1922, a new model was introduced, the Rolls-Royce 20 horsepower, nicknamed the Baby. Sales were in the hundreds, not thousands, as the niche was narrow, and maintaining production was challenging. The car targeted the middle-class doctors, lawyers, and businessmen. It was equipped with a 3,127 cubic centimeter six-cylinder engine capable of reaching 99 kilometers per h. Following the Silver Ghost, the Phantom 1 entered the lineup, produced in both Britain and the US, with a total of 3,463 units made. In 1929, it was succeeded by the Phantom II, which could reach 120 kilometers per h. Production continued until 1935, with the Phantom III marking the end of Rolls-Royce's pre-war independent production era. In 1931, the brand acquired the assets of its main rival, Bentley, which was facing financial collapse. Bentley was known for high-quality, expensive, and reliable cars, closely aligned with Rolls-Royce's ethos. For Henry, this meant the elimination of a major competitor. The story quietly brings us to 1933. Royce turned 70, struggling to manage his duties but refusing to step back as chief engineer and visionary. His health had declined since 1911, following an illness on the French Riviera. He underwent complex surgery, and no one believed he would survive yet. He lived another 20 years, reaching this milestone. On the 22nd of April, 1933, Henry Royce passed away. According to tradition, the second R in the logo also turned black. Nevertheless, this is merely a legend. Some believe it, others doubt it after all. The dates of the logo's color change don't align with the founders' deaths. The reason might be more prosaic, an increase in orders for burgundy Rolls-Royce cars, where the classic red logo clashed with the background. After Henry Royce's death, management passed to major shareholders and the board of directors. However, they were strictly forbidden from deviating from the production principles established by Henry and Charles during their lifetime. As for the brand's iconic symbol, legendary flying lady figure in a little is known with certainty. Henry Royce was initially staunchly opposed to any ornaments on the car. He believed they marred the vehicle's appearance, worsened its aerodynamics, and cheapened what should be associated with exclusivity. But he soon noticed owners installing all sorts of figures, from black cats and scantily clad women to outright tasteless male imagery. Reluctantly, Royce gave in better to have something fitting and truly elegant. There's another intriguing story. Sir John Montague, editor of Car magazine, purchased a Rolls-Royce and commissioned a hood ornament from modernist sculptor Charles Sykes. To find inspiration, Sykes personally visited the factory, observing the assembly process. For 2 weeks, he was creatively blocked, nearly abandoning the project. Then, in the office corridor, he met a secretary. Her name was Eleanor Thornton Refined, bold, dynamic. Her appearance so struck Sykes that he instantly knew how the sculpture for Rolls-Royce should look. The first version, called the Whisper, depicted a silver figure with a finger raised to her lips. The figurine was a hit with owners, and Sykes was tasked with creating the brand's official symbol. His fascination with Eleanor became a second source of inspiration. He sculpted her in a flowing dress, as if poised to leap. Thus, the Spirit of Ecstasy was born, adorning the radiators of all Rolls-Royce cars since 1911. Sykes and his daughter handled the casting until 1948, after which the process was taken over by the company. Interestingly, Eleanor never reciprocated Sykes' feeling. World War II significantly disrupted the brand's development and production pace. However, in 1949, the Rolls-Royce Silver Dawn entered the market, followed a year later by the Silver Cloud. In the early 1950s, the Phantom IV was introduced, designed specifically for the royal family and heads of state. Its standout feature was its ability to move at a pedestrian's pace without overheating the engine, making it ideal for ceremonial processions. This was followed by the Phantom V, an even more refined model that incorporated the best qualities of its predecessor. In 1968, the Phantom 6 limousine was released, produced exclusively as a limousine until 1992. The 1970s brought a severe crisis for Rolls-Royce, and in 1971, the company was officially declared bankrupt. Salvation came from the British themselves, government and citizens united, investing $250 million to revive the brand. The first fruits of overcoming the crisis were the Rolls-Royce Corniche Coupe convertible, which remained on the market until 1995. This was followed by models like the Camargue, Silver Wraith II, Silver Spirit, Silver Spur, and Park Ward. To mark the brand's 90th anniversary, a limited edition Flying Spur was released just 50 units, sold out in 2 days. However, staying afloat independently became increasingly difficult. The world was flooded with cars, but Rolls-Royce was more than transportation. It was a symbol, a legacy, a status. Ultimately, that same year, control of the company passed to BMW, while Bentley went to the Volkswagen Group. The transfer of the brand to new hands did not affect its exclusivity. Rolls-Royce maintained its leading position in the luxury segment and continues to be a favorite of Hollywood stars and global dynasties. Legends have always surrounded the brand and most of them are true. Every car undergoes a 2,000-kilometer test drive, after which it is disassembled to the last bolt for a detailed inspection of all components, then repainted and reassembled. This is justified soon. A royal or head of state will be riding in it. The painting process involves 12 layers of nitrocellulose paint. Synthetic paints don't provide the desired depth of color, so each layer is hand polished before the next is applied. The hood ornament, the Spirit of Ecstasy, is also polished, using cherry pit powder. From the start, Henry Royce established a principle. Each car is crafted like a bespoke yacht, tailored to the client's unique specifications. His slogan was, "No two Rolls-Royces are alike. Every detail of the finish must be as perfect as the mechanism itself." Glass components, for instance, are polished with special optical pumice. Perhaps the most iconic fact is that Rolls-Royce cars are made entirely by hand in the UK. At the Goodwood factory, artisans do the work, with only 2 robots used solely for painting. The Rolls-Royce Aviation Division also left a significant mark. During the Great War, Henry Royce's engines powered over half of the Allied aircraft. These engines enabled a 16-hour Atlantic crossing and the first air link between England and Australia. Today, Rolls-Royce cars remain the epitome of taste and wealth. Proof? 60% of all Rolls-Royces ever made are still on the road, and their value only increases with time. The company was founded by 2 true patriots of the automotive industry, people who poured their heart and soul into their craft. This is yet another testament to how vital it is to truly love what you do. Now friends, tell us, what car brand do you associate with luxury? Be sure to share in the comments. Have you ever seen a Rolls-Royce in person, or perhaps even taken a ride in one? That's all for today. Give a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon. Bye!